Hello everyone, welcome to today's LytrodLive QuickTake Pro Tip. Today's Pro Tip will focus on a specific application for the Aerocut Velocity and the Aerocut Prime. This application can be finished on either of those devices, and it is a commonly utilized application with some inherent challenges that we look to solve with creative solutions. The application we'll be working with today is a 5x7 creased greeting card that's actually a 10x7 cut piece that's creased down to 5x7, a very commonly utilized size in the United States for greeting cards, especially during the holidays, as we see in this picture here. We've encountered this numerous times, and we thought it would be a good idea during this time of the year to create a pro tip that focuses on how to create this in an efficient way while, again, solving some challenges that users come across often when creating this job. The challenge that we generally encounter with this job is that users would like to optimize the efficiency and lower the overhead of the workflow in creating this application by doing it 2-up on 12x18 paper. Generally, this is preferred over doing it 1-up on 8.5x11, as it reduces the click charges on the printer and also is a more optimal usage of the paper that is available. Unfortunately, the crease direction in doing this in one pass on the Aerocut is in the wrong direction, orientation, as you see on the screen here. When you lay this out 2-up, 10x7, 2-up on 12x18 paper, the only way that that's going to fit is with the crease in the incorrect position. As you can see, the crease direction for the Aerocut Velocity and Prime is parallel to the feed edge, and in this case, the crease would require to be perpendicular. What we have come up with in order to solve this situation is a 2-pass system, because this application cuts perfectly, as we see on the bottom left corner of the screen here, as a 1-up on 8.5x11. What we do is we create 2 templates, and we utilize 2 templates, actually creating one custom template and then utilizing a preset template that's already in the machine. With this, what we're able to accomplish is be able to create a 2-up job on 12x18 paper, running it twice through the Aerocut to cut down that 12x18 paper to 8.5x11, utilizing a second barcode to then automate the process completely to cut and crease the final output product. By doing this, we still have a hands-free operator workflow utilizing 2 separate barcodes that are run back-to-back, eliminating multiple click charges on the printer and pushing those over to the Aerocut, which does not have any click charges at all. What we'll be doing today is talking about how to create the custom template, how to program the Aerocut with that custom template information, how to take that artwork created, the print file created from the custom template, and bring it into a secondary preset template, and then how to finally finish the entire process. The second half of the pro tip that we're working with is actually just a very quick run through of how what we do in the software is actually printed and finished on an Aerocut Prime we have in our offices here. With that being said, I'm going to jump into the IntelliCut software that comes included with the Aerocut Velocity and Aerocut Prime to create both our custom template, program the Aerocut Prime that's in our offices, and then take the artwork that's created from that and create our print file, which will be a 2-up, 12x18, 10x7 creased card. This is the IntelliCut software. If you'd like more information, please go to www.LytrodLive.com and watch one of our more generic overview trainings on how the software works. For the specific application today, we're going to start by selecting New Job, and we're going to create our first part of the project, which is the custom template. It's a little bit confusing because the custom template will actually be finished second when we do this, when we create this on the Aerocut, but it's the first thing that's required to be created for this specific project. To do that, we're going to create custom template, 8.5x11 size paper, and a 10x7 cut card that will be creased in the middle, 1-up. I'm going to select from list an available slot on the Aerocut. 37 is available. I'm going to name this second pass 8.5x11 10x7 crease. This can be named anything that will identify this template for you during the cutting and finishing process. This doesn't have to contain the exact nomenclature that I've used here. I just prefer this to get a good understanding for which template is which during this two-pass process. If you take a look at the left side of the screen here, you'll see the preview. We are on 8.5 by 11, which is what we want. And we're going to do a 10 by 7 cut. So the height will be 10, and we'll leave our width at 7. And then we'll turn bleed on because our project does have bleed. And we're going to press next, and we're going to save this job. The next step here in creating any custom template is to bring in our artwork and add our crease and then program the Aerocut. You can really do this in any order in terms of adding the crease or bringing in the artwork. I generally prefer to bring in our artwork first. Add our crease now visually by going to the preview. Right-click, add crease in the preview and position menu. If your crease needs to be adjusted, select it and use the arrow keys. And now we'll program the Aerocut by going to the Paper Cuts menu. We'll update the template for the next time we create this from a print file, and we're going to send to the Aerocut. Finally, we're going to create our PDF. We will not be printing this PDF. This is actually the unique process. Generally, we would take this PDF and print it and cut it. But this is an 8.5 by 11 PDF, and the idea is that we want to actually take this artwork that's created. I'll show you here. We're going to take this artwork created that has its own unique identifying barcode for the ManuSet template that's been saved. But we'll actually be taking this PDF, and instead of printing it, we'll be using it as the image on the next template. The next template will then cut down 2 pages from 12 by 18 to these 8.5 by 11 pages, and then take those and run them through a second time and do the final process of finishing, cutting, and creasing. This is a very unique process because it utilizes multiple barcodes in a single run, but which continue to eliminate tedious steps and manual process for the operator of the machine. The operator of the machine, even though this is a multi-step process, will not have to do any manual configuring or toggling on the Aerocut's interface whatsoever. Now that we've programmed our template and we have our print file, we're going to go New Job. We're going to go to the 12 by 18, and we're going to be using the preset template, a very commonly utilized preset template, 8.5 by 11 2-up duplex. We're going to press Next. We are not going to turn bleed on because our print file is only 8.5 by 11, does not have bleed on it. We're going to press Finish. We're now going to import image. Now again, this is not a custom template. We do not have to program the Aerocut or tell it to do anything whatsoever. It will know the barcode automatically. We have to find the PDF we created. The easiest way to do that is locate the folder in which you saved it to. And now what you will do is simply create the PDF. We don't have to do any other actions whatsoever. Because if we go to our preview of position, we see that we have a preset template, barcode on the left-hand side of the page, and it's now going to cut out 2 8.5 by 11 pages that are actually our custom template. We'll take these 2 stacks and scan this barcode for the second pass, and that will then cut and finish. So I'm going to create my PDF. I'm going to take the PDF and send it over to my printer. And then once that's printed, we'll hand it over to a demonstration on the machine itself. So actually, the process is entirely done. We have 2 passes that are going to be performed, but to achieve the solution of allowing this job to be 2-up on 12 by 18 paper, even with the crease in the appropriate direction. I'm now going to hand it over to the live video section, and we're going to transition the screen over to the live video, and we'll watch an operator walk through this process in a 2-pass system. Thank you so much for watching.
We take the PDF that was created in IntelliCut, and we're printing it, in this case, on a Xerox C60. And we're printing the 2 8.5 by 11 pages PDFs that we created that had the barcode here to finish this 8.5 by 11 sheet into a 7 by 5 with a crease in it, or 7 by 10 I should say, with a crease at the 5" to create a folded card. But to do that, we're going to trim down a bigger sheet. We've taken the 2 up, as you saw in the previous software demo, 2 8.5 by 11 sheets, and place that onto a 12 by 18. That's actually a standard template number 353 that you can see we've automatically placed the barcode on for the Aerocut Prime. We're going to take our printed output, walk over to our Aerocut Prime. Here we have our Aerocut Prime. On the Aerocut Prime, we are simply, really don't need to program anything here. It's going to automatically read that, initially read the 353 barcode, which will trim to 2 8.5 by 11 sheets. And then we will feed those 2 8.5 by 11 sheets through. I've set my quantity to 5. Click my start key. You'll see that the tray is going to be raised. And I'm going to go ahead and focus on the light beam here, which will read the barcode, automatically adjust the slitters, and now we'll go ahead and trim down the sheets. Just kind of back up here a little bit. You can just see this is a fully automated process. Now we're going to take those 10 sheets that we just cut, and you'll notice that, as we showed in the demonstration in the first step of the process, it's just this 8.5 by 11 sheet that has the barcode on the top. This is a ManuSet template. We programmed it to template spot number 11, and it is going to feed into the machine so that the crease will be here, and it will trim down, including the bleed edge. If I can get some help, then we can go ahead and load this into the cutter. I'm going to hand my camera off because I'm going to need both of my hands to do this. I'm going to go ahead and hit the set button again to lower the tray. We're taking out those full sheets, and now I'm going to readjust my magnets and paper guides to feed the 8.5 by 11 sheets. You just simply do that by picking up the guides, making sure that your output, your cut sheet is aligned in the back left corner, and that will make sure that the sheets feed in. You can kind of tap a little bit, as you can see, to get that to line up. Okay, now that we have that adjusted, as I mentioned earlier, we have the barcode change on, and it will now read this new barcode as we watch it feed through again. And now these 8.5 by 11 sheets will not only be trimmed to the 8 by 10, but also place a crease at the 5" mark. Walk to the other end here, and we'll get to see how this finishes. It's nice when on the Aerocut Prime you have this conveyor belt that then moves along as the output is finished. We just trimmed 5 of the sheets, and now they're trimmed, as you can see, with the perfect bleed edge and folded.